Hi,
Hi,
Melinda.
Melinda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025.
Thank you.
Yeah, before going to your session, I would like to introduce you to our audience, Charlene.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Charlene Brown, known as the brand is a brand and tech strategist, tech implementation expert, and founder of Blinking Costume Designs. She guides business leaders to transform their websites into automated revenue, generating digital flagships through strategic evergreen systems. With over 25 years in tech and design, Charlene is a master at simplifying complex ecosystems and aligning brand, tech, and sales into one profitable ecosystem. Her bold, insight driven approach allows visionary leaders to eliminate tech trauma, build digital authority, and execute confidently. Charlene is a champion of website first marketing, clarity driven execution, and legacy level business sustainability. That was a great bio, Charlene, and stage is all yours.
Thank you, Melinda. And thank you for inviting me. Hey, everyone. I am Charlene Brown, the brand misfit. And what I'm doing here today is I'm going to do what I always do, tell the truth about tech, the trauma that it can create, and of course, the transformation your brand desperately needs so it can stop hiding behind the wrong tools. So often we're so excited with new technology, we just want to jump in. But most times we need to take a pause so we can assess and then get in. So let's talk about the things that you're probably underestimating, and that's your website. Not as some online business card, but it should definitely be a digital flagship, the operational command center for your brand. So today, I want to make sure that um, we understand, of course, the power of a website. Most often, business owners, we just try to get something up. People see us, we can validate who we are, and that's enough. But we also need to treat the website as a brand asset. That way, not only are you sure to update it, keep it top of mind, but you bring it into your strategies, you're able to plan around it, and it becomes a pivotal part of your marketing. So I want to ask you guys today, how many of you are actively adding your website as part of your marketing strategy? And you could drop that in the chat and I'll get into that further down when we're talking. Um, but as you see a little bit more about me, I'm a 3-time award-winning tech and brand strategist. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I'm a certified tech and business coach. Been working with WordPress pretty much at the year after it launched. So over 21 years I've been in that. But I have not just only been with WordPress. I've started with Drupal. I've had like a gambit of other platforms that I've worked with. That's why I know for a fact that it's never the platform. It's never the platform. So when you're trying to figure out like what's the next step, what should I be doing, you should be always starting with the focus on your strategy. What is it that you want to do? That's why we can't allow tech to drive our businesses. We need to allow our plans and our strategies to drive the type of tech that we actually jump into. So, before we even get more into it, I want to make sure that we understand what we'll be looking through. And we're going to talk today about why your website isn't just a one and done project, right? It's something that you constantly keep bringing back to the forefront in your business. Also, hold on. What does it actually mean to optimize a site, and how to treat your site as part of your tech cipher? That's something else I'll talk to you about, because I always think about what we do in our business as ciphers and ecosystems, and you'll understand why a little more into the presentation. And of course, the revenue impact of intentional digital strategy. When you're able to actually make sure that that's part of it, then your revenue is impacted positively, hopefully, right? And of course, the three questions every site should be able to answer. And when we're done, you're going to get the what's next type steps of what is it that you should be doing so you can scale smarter. And I want to talk about what's the real issue when we're looking at these broken platforms or our broken ecosystems. The real issue is that a lot of times we're paying attention to action, but then we're not saying, what else are the people doing? We're not walking them through it. So then our funnels become broken when we're doing that. And of course, our offers get buried in our website because we have not done any work around that to make sure that our offers, and especially the ones we want to focus on in a particular time, is at the forefront. And most folks, they don't even realize that this is what they're doing with their website. They're just following templates and following what other people suggest. So the silent thief in the business isn't your competitors, it's an unsystemized website. Your website, again, is not a project. You want to make sure that you're not using disconnected tools because those can't collaborate with you. They don't understand how to talk to each other. And yes, tech talks to each other. And of course, when you have a flagship website, that becomes such a valuable and functional brand asset. It's not just something that's there and you check it off your list. So most folks, they treat their website like it's a solo performer. But when you think about it, and I love music, when you think about it, your website should be conducting itself more like a conductor at an orchestra. And if there's no score, which is mean there's no strategy to follow, it's just all over the place. And you don't want that. The role of your website in digital marketing, especially, is to be a property for you. That's where you can control the instructions, you can control the rules. Just like how we're on social media, they have rules. So why not create our own world where we have our own rules and we can make sure that we are operating the way that we want to operate? When you combine, right, your website with an evergreen strategy, you're creating a system that actually works for you 24 hours. That's bringing you leads, building relationships for you, and also driving your sales. That's ultimately what so many businesses want and, of course, need. Even when you're not actively marketing, your website's working on your behalf. So when you're building these brands, you don't want to do this using digital guesswork. That's going to be a nightmare. And if strategy isn't mapped, the tech won't work. No matter how innovative it is, no matter how many times people tell you this is the must have, it will not work because it's not built on your strategy. And if the tech is not talking, your team can't win. So if you have teams and you have others who are trying to work with you, the tech is going to be a roadblock. So, some elements for your brand that I want you to consider: you want to get from random to aligned. Silo tools with no collaborative expectations built into it, that only brings you back to chaos. And a lot of times, the wrong tools, they highlight the chaos in the back end of your business. And of course, you don't want that. So, tech does not equate to strategy. You have to bring the strategy first and then the tech. And of course, automation does not automatically give you clarity. That should come before the automation so you can map out what it is the tools should be doing. And your website is a tool. So you want to know what it should be doing and get those expectations clear from the beginning. So traffic plus instructions, that is going to bring you the stability you're looking for. And that's your ecosystem. All the time you want to focus on how are you capturing your sales, and you want to be very intentional with that. I used to put up a website and think, oh, okay, we got it, we just got to bring the traffic. But what I was missing, and I had to learn over the years, not only how to build a website, but of course how to brand it, how to market it. And a lot of that we had to start with the strategy first. What was the ultimate goal for that business and that brand at that moment? And then how will that build up to their ultimate vision? So the goal should be coming together to build up for your ultimate vision. Now, if you don't have a vision yet for your brand, then that's a problem, right? So you still have to go all the way back and start there. Get the vision clear so then you can come with the strategy to support that vision and bring you the actual wins you're hoping for. So you want to make sure that you're capturing those leads with intention. And of course, you want to start guiding the action. You want people to be clear of not only why they're on your site, but what are they expected to do. And yes, just because you put a lot of call to action buttons on the website, that does not always equate that the person's going to know, like, oh, in their state of mind or in their stage in their business or wherever that they are in life when they come to you, that this is what they want to do or should do at that time. You want to guide them. The copy should be doing that as well. And then, of course, automate engagement with purpose. Don't just automate to automate. Don't just get a chat agent and say, I built something. Build it so that you're leading people to the ultimate purpose. So, yes, you want to have the sales, but then what? How are you going to nurture them afterwards? What's the next automation that can be taken away from your team or even your day to day task? That's where the automation comes from, removing as many smaller tasks that technically you shouldn't have to do and allow the tools to help you do the heavy lifting on those smaller tasks. That clears the way for you. So, one thing that I love to do with my clients is assess the gaps. If you don't understand where your gaps are, you're just building tech on top of chaos, like we talked about. And when you're doing that, you want to ask yourself, when was the last with your business goals? That's going to be very important. And of course, you want to also ask yourself, what's your CTA's reflection of your current offers? Are they actually doing what it is that you want your offers to? Are they leading people to what you want the offers to do? I think I lost my camera. I'm not sure. But if you can hear me, I'm going to still go. Okay. Just let me know in the chat if you guys can still hear me. I'm not sure if you can see me. Also, okay, you can hear me. Perfect. So also, you want to make sure that when you have your users coming onto your site is actually following the user flow. It's intuitive, it's intentional. That also is going to require you to know what the customer journey is. What is it that people at a certain stage in their process with you, what would they be looking for? What would you want them to know? Those things, definitely make sure you build that into the website because that becomes part of the flow of traffic for you. And you can have a better understanding of how to capture and where you're losing people. So also, you want to make sure when you're looking at your analytics, they're telling a conversion story. So the clarity that you have, the strategy that you created, that user flow that you've built in are the analytics telling that same story that the conversion is working. And if it's not, can the analytics help you get that clearer story? So definitely make sure that you're doing these things as you're assessing where are the gaps in your ecosystem. So, one thing that many people, when they're optimizing their website, they're optimizing based off of what the time old traditions are. SEO, make sure you have photos, make sure you do all the things, right? However, are you also optimizing your site so it can bring in profit? Websites that are optimized generate up to 30% more revenue. However, optimization requires intention, not trends. Trends are great, but they don't lead you to where you need to be. Trends should be used again as tools, but use that as part of your 80-20 rule. 80% of your strategy should not be built on trends. Let that be the 20%, right? Or a little less than the 20%. That way you can still have fun when you're marketing and you're creating for your business, but you're not relying solely on trends because as we know, trends come and go. But you want to build something that's more everlasting. And when people find you, they will always find answers, right? Not something that feels outdated. So let's have a reflection. I want to make sure that I am also respectful of your time. And also, I know websites can be a lot, but remember, websites are a smaller part of your tech cipher. And when I speak of tech cipher, I mean that's your infrastructure. That's a part of what drives the business on the back end. You have, for me, I when I told you I see businesses as ciphers and ecosystems, there's a larger ecosystem that encompasses your brand, sales, and tech ciphers. And today we're focusing on the tech cipher, which is the back end infrastructure. And you want to make sure that those components are there and communicating effectively. So let's reflect on, is your website an employee? And if it were, would you keep it around? That means, is it doing its job that you expected it to do? Many people invest thousands of dollars in a website. Can you imagine thousands of dollars and it's still not doing its work? So, how do you now either put it on a PIP for those from the corporate world? Do you put it on a PIP? And how do you evaluate it properly and effectively? That way you can allow it to shift and prove itself, right? How can we get it to do better? A lot of that will mean, have you set it up for success? Just like when we are working in corporate, we're working with our teams. Are we setting them up for success? You want to also understand, are you setting up your website for success? So, also, is it meeting expectations? Have you pulled out a reasonable set of expectations that your website should be doing to support the business? Always. Your tools that you invest in should support your business. Then we get into, is it costing you more than it's earning for you? If that's the case, then evaluation is a must. That's when we go back to assessing the gaps. Where are we missing something? These are not rhetorical questions. These are legitimate questions that you have to ask yourself. And when every year that we are doing our assessments of our businesses, we're setting up for the following year, the website should be a key component in that conversation with yourself and with your teams. These are real questions of digital leadership. So, chaos, we spoke about this a little bit. Chaos cannot scale, ecosystems can. You don't want to build a brand with chaos. You want to build it with strategy. So, those disconnected tools, you want to create something that is a connected tech cipher for yourself. Your email marketing systems should be talking to your website and vice versa. If you have a CRM, those things should be getting transferred over smoothly. You want to create the conversation, the language. And as a techie, ciphers can be decoded and coded languages. So start thinking about, how can you create a coded and a decoded way for your language in your business? And also, because I love music, ciphers in the music world is a way that you can harmoniously come together and have a collaboration and bring that music to life. So, how are your tools coming together to be harmonious with each other, to bring your business goals to life, to bring your brand vision to life? You want to consider that. And if you can remove manual processes, even better. That way, you can create evergreen marketing machines for yourself and your business. So, we want to go from broken to built for scale. And I just want to create a vision for you based on a client of mine. Now, my client, Marcus, he had the traffic, but there was no traction at all. We had to take a look at what was going on with his site, right? Everything looked great on the outside, but when we went to the back, it was a different story. So when that happens, there's a misalignment there. So we had to figure out, what is it that we needed to do. So we gave him an audit and we started to look for the gaps, and those gaps started to shine through. And once that was done, we were able to now build a digital flagship for him that nurtured his leads daily, and were able to automate and align with what his brand was about. And this is not an overnight situation. Of course, it takes time, but when you move forward with a clear strategy, it's easier for you to spot what's working faster and how to replace that and pivot quicker. Now, for the reflow and the recap, I want to make sure that we understand what we just went through. I know I put a lot out there for you. So I just want us to know that your website, it is not a project. This is the engine of your ecosystem. This is the core when it comes to your tech cipher. And what that means is when you're putting things out, when you're marketing, everyone should be still bring coming back to your website. And if you're embarrassed about the website, if you forget about the website, that's a disconnect with you and a pivotal piece of your business. That's a pivotal tool for your business. So you want to really think about that. And of course, we talked about strategic clarity. That's not software that drives the results. You want to make sure you have that strategic clarity in place. And most sites, they fail from the lack of design. They're not doing that. They're too busy focusing on the pretty of it all, right? What's really messing them up is that website has no direction. So they're not failing because their site doesn't look good. They're failing because the site has no direction. It doesn't know what to do with people once they're there. It leaves people, like I love to say, when you invite people to the front door, but you don't invite them in, you're not showing them around, people don't know what to do. You leave them to wander. And that's the last thing you want to do when it comes to your website. You don't want people to just wander around, right? And also, optimization is ongoing. Whenever you're looking at your system, you want to tweak it. You want to make sure that it's always at its optimum. Just like when you have your car, when you have a corporate entity, you always want to make sure that it's a smooth running engine as much as possible. So if it's monthly, if it's quarterly, you always want to take a look at that and optimize it. So it's not a one time flash in the pan kind of thing. And always treat your website like the digital flagship it is, or risk confusion, loss, and wasted spending, right? You don't want to keep doing that. So I just want to make sure that you also remember you know now how to assess your site and what to do next. Okay, so thank you all for taking your time. I put together a resource that you can download in the resource section, and I also have a poll. I'm not sure if you guys saw. Oh yes, you guys were taking it. Yes, so so 15 of you have, or 71% have said that you are using your website as part of your marketing strategy. Congratulations and awesome, because a lot of people leave that out. And also, I wanted to go back to the resource for you. When you download this resource, it will take you to a free asset, which is the free ecosystem clarity check. That's an assessment to help you find where your gaps are and where you can start. And if you want to dive in deeper with me on that assessment, you will also find ways to work with me further. Hi, Melinda.
Yeah, Carolyn Brown.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yes,
yeah,
I am done.
yeah. That was a fantastic talk. We really impressed you for your talk. Yeah,
Thank you. I
yeah.
don't
We
know
have
what
this.
happened to me on camera.
Yeah. Could you please turn off and turn on your camera?
It's on. Oh, that's why my camera switched. Can you see me now? Wait, hold
No,
on.
you are not visible.
Wait, I just saved it again. Let me see. I just saved it again.
Yeah. Yeah, Carolyn, we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask you one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can a good looking website still be ineffective?
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of amazing websites, but they're not doing what the business owner had hoped. So it's very important to infuse that strategy and, in essence, give the website instructions. So if you know that you want to build your email list, you want to make sure that you're putting and placing those captures in a prominent place. most folks will not scroll all the way down the first time they see your site, especially if you're we call it above the fold. So the first thing we see is above the fold. If that does not capture people, they won't scroll all the way down to the footer for a opt-in, right? So you want to find strategic ways to bring that opt-in in. So if it's a quick hello banner at the top that allows people to quickly download, all those types of things you want to encompass. And again, if there's something that you want, maybe an event you want them to purchase tickets to, put that at the top where the above the fold is, and capture people quickly and early.
Yeah. Thank you, Caroline, for clarifying my question.
Yes.
Yeah. Caroline, please stay on the backstage and join the next session.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you
everyone.
for the valuable time. Bye bye.
Bye.